Hi everyone, it's me Nandini Devi, the Shakti Oracle, and I just felt really called to make this video, so I'm going to do it. It's me channeling some energy from Sati, and Sati is one of the aspects of Kali, and you may also know her as Durga, Parvati, and I've shared about this before, and I'm already feeling high from the transmission. I'm like already getting like whoa. um so yeah, I am sober, so this is like, it's kind of a trip to have this while I'm recording. Sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. So now I'm like really feeling it. I've been in meditation and I was really connecting to Sati, and I didn't realize it was her. Like, it hadn't clicked to me. And so I wanted to bring up a little bit about that. How we might be drawn to a certain deity, and then especially if you're drawn to Shakti in one of her forms, and then all her other forms start coming up. So if you're not a Shakta, I am a Shakta. Shakta means that I worship Shakti and I'm part of a lineage of worship towards the Aman goddesses, right? So all her different forms. Now, you could be a Shakta by lineage, or, maybe by choice, whatever it is, or maybe you've just been drawn towards an energy, or you feel like you really needed Kali, or whatever it is, and you've connected to Shaktism. Now, being a Shakta is a totally different thing, because what happens is that you start to, it's not like a one situation type thing. It's not like, oh, she helped me during this one time. Literally, your experiences are all Shakti experiences, and then she manifests in different forms to help you with different things and illuminate different things. And sometimes when we don't know about her different forms, we might not even know that that's her. And that's fine too, I guess. I mean, we're really just having spiritual experiences, and as long as you can honor whatever spiritual experience you're having, that's good enough. But it is good to know these lineages. And one of the things that is coming up for me right now is talking about Sati, because I was in meditation, and I think what we'll do is we'll actually go into that space together. Okay, so what you'll do, if you wish to join me, if you don't, you can click off and see me in another video where I'm just chatting. This is a transmission because I'm feeling her very strongly. So we're gonna close our eyes. We're gonna take a deep breath in. Divine children, it is me, Sati. I want to teach you the importance of Ajni, fire. And how to cultivate the inner yogic flame. Bring your attention inward toward your heart. Most people hold rage, anger, resentment in the heart. Even if you don't feel it now, there might have been a time that you stored this energy away in the very cells of the heart. When we open the heart, it begins to burn, and it frightens us, so we close it. Using your breath and focus and movement, you can release excess flame. Tune into your heart now. Breathe in through your nose, allowing the belly to swell. And now breathe out through the nose. Releasing the breath through the nose like a dragon. Continue to move the energy and air and flame out. As you do this, allow a gentle flame to begin to burn in your belly. As small as a candle's light. Take a gentle breath in through the nose into the belly, allowing that flame to gently expand. Breathe out, and as you breathe out, sending any excess fire from the heart out of the mouth. Now take your tongue, the tip of your tongue, and place it in the softest part of the back of your mouth. And make a humming buzz. Om Shanti, Shanti Om. I think let's sit in meditation for a short while, and then I'll share some things that are coming up around this practice. So when I was sitting in meditation and I connected to Sati, what came up was that I had been having this vision of this woman who I knew as Kali, but she looked different to me. She looked like flesh. Like sometimes when I see Kali, she is blue. Or she's the void, or she's like different energy. And this person kind of reminded me of like an auntie, and she would sort of like hold me. And I recently had a conversation with someone, a client, who kind of resonated with a similar image. And so it was interesting because this Shakti, this form of Shakti, could be any number of her forms. She has many, many forms. And so I realized it was Sati because I was sitting around this flame. I guess let me rewind. Earlier today, I was doing something that brought up a lot of fire in my body. I could feel it, I could sense it. And I felt like it was trapped rage. And I started to do the fire breath, which is what we just did with like, and you're pumping your belly. And it releases a lot of inner, like, it's like it's like your Shakti is trapped in spaces and it helps it to move. But in this particular practice, and it's so mysterious, that's why it's so hard for me to totally express, because I wasn't raised like studying, yogic philosophy. It actually is just in my DNA. Like, I feel like I have visions all the time that Shakti brings to me directly from my ancestors, because Shakti is my ancestor. That's one thing that's really important to note, I think. If you have a lineage of Shaktism, your ancestors are these deities. Like, these deities are actual beings. They're people that evolved into higher beings. And there are other pantheons like this where you speak to the deities that connect to God. And the Orishas are like that, for instance. Like, the Orishas are ascended masters. So when you're talking to the Orishas, you're talking towards like ascended beings who were human and transmuted things in their many lifetimes or whatever lifetime to ascend into a higher realm. And Kali is an ancestor. Like, her forms, like, that's why there's all these stories about Brahmacharini and Chanchalakanta and all the forms during Navratri, where we learn about the journey of the Shakti's forms, where she elevates further and further in her consciousness to attain enlightenment, which enlightenment in that case was considered Shiva. So Shiva not being a being, but just a form of enlightenment. So her union with Shiva is enlightenment. That's what union with Shiva means. It doesn't mean marriage, it means enlightenment. So when Sati's story is that she was the, daughter of a king, and she wanted to run away with Shiva. But what that means isn't that she wanted to run away with this man, but that she wanted to become a wanderer. She wanted to renounce her earthly princess role and study yogic philosophy and yoga and ascend. And she literally created Shaktism from her being. And these are transmissions. These are not things that I read anywhere. Like, these are transmissions of her reality, because when you really look at these stories, they're yearning to be interpreted in our timeline. And I feel that I am channeling these stories in this time frame that they need to be, because this is the medicine. The stories are passed down over time and space, and each time they are spoken, they have medicine for that time, for those people. So this is the medicine of the now. And Sati's story is that she goes off, she wants to do this, she wants to marry this man, but really what it means is that she wants to become this yogi. She wants to be enlightened. And her father really isn't about that. He doesn't want her to give up what she has. He doesn't want that kind of energy in his home. He doesn't really resonate with that. So he doesn't understand her lifestyle, and that she's breaking this role of her, her womanhood and her material inheritance. And so what happens is that at his party, because Shiva comes, because spirit enters the space and he's not happy with it, because he is ego, he's a representation of just the material realm without spirit, and how the material can sometimes reject spirit, so capitalism and so on. And she actually sets herself on fire through a yogic technique. But what's happening is that she's sending herself into her next life. She's sending herself into her next form. I don't know if her next form is Uma or Parvati, but she basically starts to transmute herself through reincarnation. And she continues to search for enlightenment in each of her lives. So she gets closer and closer every time. And, her experience of that gets told through many stories and is misinterpreted as some kind of like, you know, story about a woman and a man getting married or whatever. But these are stories telling the tantric truths. And so Sati, when I started seeing her and she was with me, she was actually helping one of my inner kids to transmute trapped energy and rage at a time where I didn't have healthy tools to process my rage. We don't always need a whole God to come down and help us with our rage. Like, as we become adults, we can learn to, you know, go to therapy or counseling or beat up your pillow or, you know, fill a bag with glass and smash it. I don't know. You know, there's all these different ways that we can really like get our rage out, but like through a yogic practice, the fire breath is really helpful, and it's helpful for getting out that really deep energy. And the way that I saw it was that she had manifested herself in my visions, and that she would eat things from me, which is really typical for my relationship with Kali, is that sometimes when I'm releasing, she just eats the stuff. Because if you look at the stories of Kali, she drinks the blood of the demons so that it doesn't touch the floor and multiply. And that has to do with like our inner demons, our inner Ravan. And when we release, you know, not to release it onto another person or a situation, where that's called like, you know, when people say you're projecting or when we're abusive or things like that. So one of the ways that it gets transmuted is that a divine deity who you make a relationship with and you will let into your life through building a real relationship. It's not like, this is not to look cool or whatever. Like, you need to build a relationship over time and space with a deity, or be chosen, be initiated, whatever path that it is, be born into it, whatever, discover your truth. And as you build this relationship, this deity watches over you and helps you, and they assist you in these times where you can craft very specific prayers for healing. And so in this moment where I was releasing from my inner kid towards this deity who I saw as Kali or Parvati, it turned out to be Sati, and she was eating things, and inside of her body was fire. Her whole entire insides were fire, because in the timeline of that first story of Sati, who is Shakti in one of her forms, in that timeline, in that space, she is fire. She's just fire. She becomes fire. She becomes an element, and she is able to transmute things because of that consciousness that she attained in that lifetime. So she also shares with me that it's possible for us to ascend to that level, that we are able to become enlightened and go through cycles that higher beings have gone through, and we learn the practices and we learn how to do it, and then it happens. And like, what does it actually look like? I don't know. We may not actually burst into flames, but something may happen that is so mystical and mysterious, and not every eye is going to see it. It might not be visible to the three-dimensional world. We may not even know it happened because we go into samadhi, or we die and transmute and reincarnate or leave or whatever happens. So that consciousness stays with us, and we're able to use that consciousness to assist others, but it's not necessarily so clear and something we can document and share with others so obviously. And even this video, like, the energy of this video is resonating hard with me. Now, when I put it out, the chances of it resonating with everybody, I don't know, because the messages inside of it are mysterious. The energy is the medicine, and the words are just a vehicle. So we'll see. I'm really, really glad to and feel really blessed to have had this experience and to be able to share it with you. And I hope that if it does resonate, whatever time you show up and you see this video, that it actually serves you and your journey of healing and enlightenment. Love you.